Hello, Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining me today. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about crystals and some different properties of them. I'm going to share some of my crystals I really like that I use regularly with you, and just talk about my experiences with crystals as well, and how they work with the body. So, starting out, going back, I talked a little bit earlier in a video about water having consciousness, plants and trees having consciousness. And of course, we know animals have consciousness, but also crystals have consciousness. And I know that's kind of hard to believe, but they do. And they have their own energy, vibration, and frequency to them. And and you can feel it. Like I remember when I started to awaken spiritually, I noticed that and I always liked crystals, even as a child. I played with them. I would find rocks in the woods or whatever, stones, and I'd play with them. And I wasn't real familiar about their properties or knew ain't much about them, but I was drawn to them. I thought they were really pretty. But once I started spiritually awakening, I noticed that and it was really interesting. Like if I put a crystal in my palm and I held it within like 10 seconds, I could feel like, kinda and it felt like electrical charge coming off of the crystals going up my arm, but that didn't happen until I started to spiritually awaken. Before then, I didn't feel it, and I just thought, "Wow, that's really cool." Like, what am I feeling? So I s it's when I would have these experiences, it would get me started going down these rabbit holes, and because I wanted to know what was going on, why am I feeling this? What is this? And then I realized that, through research that they do indeed have consciousness and they have their own vibration, energy, and frequency to them. So, so that's kind of got me started doing research on that. But really, my first experience with crystals that really kind of got me onto the road of using them and liking them and really enjoying them was many years ago in 2018. I went on a work conference a couple hours from my home, and I thought, well, it was a couple day conference, and I thought, well, I'm there, I'm gonna go ahead and schedule like a Reiki healing session or something for myself, do a little bit of self-care. So I was looking into some different places, and there was a lot of like metaphysical places where I was going. And so I was looking around, and so I called and then, called to make the appointment. And they're like, well, the lady that, does our Reiki is out of town. She's not available, but we do have some openings for crystal therapy. And I was like, okay. So, I mean, I never did it, I had no idea what it involved or entailed, but I thought, "Why not?" I gotta give this a go, right? Let's try this out. So I went ahead and signed up and made the appointment, and I show up, and I had no idea, what was gonna happen, right? None at all. It was my first time, and I've never worked with crystals, like, on this level, so I have no idea. All I knew is that when I held them in my hand now, I could feel that energy coming off of them. That's all I knew, right? So I show up, and, she has me fill out this form, basically about like what I'm looking to get from the crystal therapy today and like a health form and that kind of stuff. So I go through all that and I thought, wow, well, these little crystals must punch a wallop if I have to fill out these forms, about my health and things and what I'm looking to get out of it. If I have any health conditions, things like that. So, so I go into this room and I lay down on a like, it looks like a massage table, something similar to that. So I lay down, or I guess like a Reiki table is what it was. And I lay down. And so I told her what I was looking to accomplish for that day. And at the time, I was newly, just a couple years into awakening, and I was still trying to like figure all this stuff out and still trying to learn and grow and, kind of figure out what's going on with me with all of this. And so I told her that's what I was going through, and I was looking for something that would increase my intuition, that would, I was being attacked a lot by dark, negative oriented entities. And so I was looking for protection and something that was going to help me like lift my vibration and help me with this process of, integrating all this energy and leveling up, so to speak, with, spirituality and awareness in my intuition. She's like, okay, so she puts these stones on me, and I'm laying there, And I remember, like, she put a couple, like, like, on different parts of my body, like, couple on my shoulders. I think there was a couple on my head and, different parts of my body, some, like, by my feet, on my legs, things like that. So I'm laying there and she comes to the, like, and she says, I don't know, she sits down behind me and puts her hands, like, on my head and says something. I don't know. I don't remember now because it was many years ago what she said. And then she's like, "Okay, well, I'm gonna leave the room now and kinda let the crystals do their work, and I'm gonna leave the room for, like," I think she said, like, 40 minutes or something like that, and I was like, "Okay." So she leaves, and I'm laying there alone, and I'm, like, just laying there, like, "Okay, what's gonna happen? What's going on here?" And I'm laying there, and it was the craziest thing. So she was gone, I think it was 40 minutes. Like I said, I can't remember now because it's been so many years ago. But I remember laying on this table. And as time went on, it was like I could feel these crystals like working with my body. And I could feel them coming. How can I explain? It was like waves of energy coming up and down my body. So it would like go up to my head and then wave down to my feet and go up to my head and wave down to my feet. And I remember like, wow, it was really cool. And it took a couple minutes for this to really get going, when I was laying there. And then I was trying to like clear my mind, and kind of meditate with my mind while I was laying there and just try to tune in to what the crystals were doing and let's like basically try to like work with them, right, with my energy. And as time went on, during the time she was gone, I was like, towards the end of the time, like not, after a while, as the waves of energy was going on, and I could feel all that energy coming off the stones. So I had like that, it kind of felt like electricity going through me while the waves were happening. And then as time went on, it was like, felt like my body was literally gonna, like, come up off the table, like I was gonna levitate off the table. And I know that sounds crazy to as I'm trying to describe it, but that's what it felt like. It felt like my body was gonna actually come up off the table, that's how powerful this was. And then I just started crying. So I'm just, like, bawling my eyes out, and I don't know why. I'm just, like, releasing all this, I guess, negative energy, toxic energy, whatever, but it was pulling it out of me, and I'm just, like, crying, crying, crying. So the girl comes back, the lady that's doing the treatment, she comes back in the room, and I'm just, like, blubbering. I'm like, like, crying and just, like, tears coming. She had to give me a tissue. I'm drinking water, so she takes the crystals off me, and I'm just sitting there, and it took me probably an hour after this to, like, get to, like, recompose myself. It took me an hour, and I'm not kidding. I sat there for a while in that room, like, trying to calm down, because I kept crying, I'm drinking water, and I'm just talking to her, and it was just the craziest experience I've ever had. Up to that point, when it came to I mean, I've never had that kind of experience with crystals before, of course, and I was like, "What is going on? This is crazy. Like, what is going on with me? Why how are they doing this? How are they so powerful that they're having this reaction to me in this treatment?" And it was mind-blowing is probably the best way to describe that whole experience. It was just completely mind-blowing because I wasn't expecting for crystals to have that kind of power on me. Like, I wasn't I just thought, "Oh, I'm just gonna lay here with these little crystals on me, it's gonna be," but I wasn't expecting what it did to me. I really wasn't expecting it, but I was like, "Wow, this stuff works." That was basically what I got out of it. So she gave me a list of stones to buy because I'm like, "Well, make me like a little, sheet of stones that you think would be good for me, knowing what I'm trying to accomplish and help me on this journey," And she's like, "Okay." So she wrote them down for me. But I was like a believer in crystals after that. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to run out and get me some crystals." So once I calmed down and recomposed myself and I left, I went that a couple like right after that, I went to town and I found some crystal shops and I had my little sheet, that she gave me, and I started going around and picking out different crystals, and that's how I started. So that's how I started collecting them. And then as time went on, I started doing more research into them and I started to, you know, pick out more crystals. So now I have quite a plethora of crystals all throughout my house. But that's how it started. It started with that treatment and the type of reaction I had. And I realized firsthand how powerful crystals are and how we can use them, to our advantage as far as interacting with them with our energy. So I thought, wow, this is really cool. So that's how I got started into it. So I wanted to share like some of my crystals with you that I have brought. So I'm going to start. Well, before I do that, bear with me as I'm looking at my notes here. So some things I just want to share with you about crystals, and I've got like pages of notes. So bear with me 'cause this is many years of research here. So basically, gemstone and crystal therapy it's a technique for strengthening our body and resolving issues and patterns. So you can use crystals for that reason. And also, as I said earlier, gemstones have their own vibrational, crystals have their own vibrational rates. And then when you place them within our aura, the vibrational rates also change. So they're working with us. And this is really cool too. So like they're working within our aura, like their rates change affects our rates, so the vibration rates changes for both, to us, for all of us, for us as humans. So then crystals and gemstones resonate with the liquid crystals inside our body. So yes, we do have liquid crystals inside our body, very small ones. And so the crystals that we have, in the world, they work with the crystals inside our body. So that's just really cool. So I just wanted to share that with you. So I'm going to start with sharing some of my crystals that I have acquired over the years. So this one, so bring it up. This is my labradorite. He's pretty big and it's a heavy crystal, but look at how pretty. I don't know if you can see on the camera. It's got a really nice shine to it. It's really pretty stone. Flip it over the other side. See there, you can see that shine. It's really nice. I just love this crystal. I use this one a lot when I meditate. It's one of my go-to crystals when I meditate, and I'll talk a little bit about that after I introduce you to my crystals about how I use them. But labradorite assists in discovering our destiny, and it provides us clarity and kind of like an inner insight, help us with our intuition. And it is descended from other galaxies and connects with us on that level. So that's really cool. But I really like my labradorite. All right, so the next one, and I'm hoping I'm saying this right, because sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing these names, but lapis lazuli is another one. And you can see it's got a really you see that really pretty blue type color, really pretty shine to it. And I've got a couple here in my hand, trying to see so you can see it. But it's kind of like these ones have a bluish, kind of like a gray to them. But it's a really pretty blue color. Let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in the camera. There we go. So this one it helps it helps with your mind, understanding your mind, expands our viewpoint and helps us to speak our truth. So this is a good one if you're working on your throat chakra to use for your throat chakra, and you could use it also like on your third eye to help with that as well, on your third eye chakra. So if you're meditating, this is a good one for that. But I like this one as well. Okay, so then I'm going to move on to my Moldavite. Moldavite comes from space, from meteors, and it's pretty expensive. This little piece here, I think, and I've had this for years, but I want to say I paid probably close to $50 for this one. So it's there's Moldavite's pretty expensive, but I really like it. It's another one of my go-to crystals. So this one helps with like strong grounding, and it helps with you know well, it says assists with communicating like whales, dolphins, but also like helps people that are star seeds because of course it comes from meteors or it comes from outer space. See it and see how it's got that nice like green shine on it. So I like moldavite, but it's a strong grounding stone, and I like to use that one. And let's see. So let me flip my page here. Selenite is the next one I'm going to show you. And this one, And you'll see, like, if you go into metaphysical stores, they have a lot of selenite and they have it like in different shapes and stuff. You can get them like in a pillar shape. You can get them as a bowl that kind of like a cleansing bowl that you can use to put other crystals in it. And it heals negativity, fears, and it cleanses stones. So that's why when you see them in those stores, you'll see them like in a form of a bowl to put their other crystals in it. So it's a cleansing. It's a cleansing agent, helps cleanse stones. But it does heal negativity and fears, and I like to meditate with this one a lot. And you can see it's kind of see-through. This one you don't want to get wet because it will harm the stone. So there's some crystals you have to be careful with water. You don't want them to get wet. Some are okay, but definitely find out before you get them wet if they're okay with water or not. And another thing about selenite, it enables access to information from the Pleiades, and the Pleiades is a star system that is star cluster Pleiades. And the star of the Pleiades, I can't remember off the top of my head, the sun for the Pleiades star system is basically our central sun. So our star system, there's a bigger star system that we're a part of. So our solar system is part of a bigger solar system, and that's the Pleiades system. And that so that there's the star for the Pleiades system would be like our central sun, I guess is the way to describe it. But you can see it's kind of see-through. So I like selenite a lot. And I'm going to end with showing you this moonstone. This will be my last stone I show you. And this one's a black moonstone. I really like this one. I've had this one. This was one of my first stones that I got. This one in the labradorite I showed you. And you can see it's got some pretty markings on it. So it's got like some nice lines coming across from it. And so the moonstone helps with protection. It helps to enhance your intuition and it helps with grounding, creativity. It has like a calming effect. It also helps to balance emotions, and it's the divine feminine stone. So it has divine feminine qualities in it as well. And I like to, when I meditate, I like to put this one on my third eye right here. Um, and it helps with that. Like I said, helps with that in enhancing your intuition, like on your third eye chakra. So basically, so these are some of and I have a whole bunch more than that, but these are some I wanted to share with you that I use these ones quite a bit. So how when you're going to get your crystals, when you go to buy them, make sure that you just use your intuition. That's what I would do. Like I would go in there and it'd be a bunch of like different moonstones there, and I would go to the one that I was drawn to. And it's like, okay, that's the one that's meant to come into my life. So if you feel a stone's really, you're drawn to that stone or it's calling you, so to speak, then that's the one that you want to pick. And, then when you buy your crystals, go to the ones that you're drawn to using your intuition. And there's all different ways that you can cleanse your stones, like the selenite bowls that I talked about earlier with the selenite. That's one way you can do it. But when you buy crystals, you definitely want to cleanse them right away as soon as you get them home because they have absorbed energy from wherever they've been, and that could be negative energy as well. So you don't want to bring that energy around you or into your house. So as soon as you get a chance, you make sure you cleanse them. And there's different ways you can use. Running water, if they're okay with water, you can cleanse them using running water. You can smudge them with smudge sticks, like using sage into the smoke. You can cleanse them, and that's how I cleanse a lot of my crystals is smudging them, especially if they're really large pieces. That would be hard to, do it in other ways. I usually smudge them, but that's a good way you can do it. You can use a selenite dish that I mentioned, and also you can put them in salt. So you can put them in salt for like 24 hours and that helps cleanse them as well. So there's different ways that you can cleanse them, but the key point is to make sure you do it that you get rid of any kind of negative energy that they might have picked up on their journey before they came to your house because you don't want to bring that into your environment. So make sure you cleanse your stones and make sure you take that and do it right away as soon as you can. And you wanna cleanse them on a regular basis too, so, like, every once in a while, I'll make sure I smudge them real good or, give them a little put them in salt or, however I cleanse them. Oh, and also moonlight too, like, you can cleanse them through the moon, leaving them out well, I'm sorry, moonlight charges them, but sun, you can also put them out in the sun, let them and that will get rid of negative energy too, but moonlight is a good way to charge your crystals if you leave them out in the full moon overnight, and just make sure it doesn't rain that night if they're gonna get if they're not supposed to get wet, don't leave them out there in the rain overnight. But I've done that. I've got so many of them that I have like a to put them in a basket, take them out, put them on the deck, in the moonlight, let them charge overnight. So that's how you charge them. But I think it's the sun, if I remember correctly, the sun is a way that you can cleanse them too if you put them in sunlight. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can cleanse them. But how to use them? Well, you can use them kind of like I did in that therapy session that I talked about. Like when I like to meditate with them, and then I like to put them on me when I meditate. So I'll be like, maybe I'll have my moonstone here, and you can have the lapis lazuli here, or whatever chakras that you're working with, you can use coordinate that whatever stone works with that chakra. You could put that on you. You could use it to meditate. Just use it to hold them. So you could meditation's a good way to use them. Put them on you when you meditate. That's what I do. But also sometimes if I'm anxious and I don't really have time to meditate, but I'm a little anxious. If I just hold them in my hands and do like some breathing exercises, breathing techniques while I'm holding them, that helps calm me down. That helps with anxiety. So that's another way you can use them. You can make grids with them. And, I'll talk more about grids later on, but because it's kinda detailed, but you can make grids with them and put them around your house in such a way like feng shui. You can use feng shui with them to help with the energy of your home, and then the grids help bring energy. So there's different grids, like for abundance, for health, different types of ways, different grids you can make using crystals, and then you can put them in your home to help with the energy of your home. Sometimes like putting them in different corners of the room, depending on what you're trying to accomplish. You would like say if you're trying to go for protection, you would use crystals that work with protection, and you could make grids with that or put them around your home. And then you can look into feng shui and use the crystals for the energy of the home using the feng shui techniques and concepts. So that's another way you can use it. And then also, I like to take salt baths at least like once a week. I like to take a salt bath, and take time to actually take a bath, not just take a shower, and like just kind of, just lay in the tub and relax and clear my mind, do like maybe a little small meditation while I'm in there listening to music. But also, you can use crystals in your bath water. I like to use black tourmaline in my bath water, and that helps take away negative energy while you're in the tub, and that's a good one for that one. And that one obviously you can use in the water. So but there's all kinds of different ways you can use them. But I just wanted to come on today and share my experience with you and then share some of these techniques and show you some of the crystals I use on a regular basis to get you familiar with them. But it's definitely something I would worth looking into. I definitely would look into them because my experience was so powerful with them that it really turned me on to them. And then working with them, I can just feel how they help me. And so that's just I think it's always good just to have a few crystals in your home, even if you're not gonna meditate with them, just have them, different places in your home will help with the energy of your home. But I think it's so important that to be able to use that resource of crystals to be able to help us with our energy and our vibration and frequency. And it's just a nice, way we can help. We can work with these crystals to help us with those things. And I just wanted to share this with you. Thank you for joining me today. Make sure you like and subscribe. Like this video, and then subscribe so other people will see it. And I appreciate you tuning in today. And I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.